Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are in the world. Before I go any further, please give me a 5x5 to say that you can see and hear me, that my microphone is on, that my video is on, and the whole thing don't go blank or I'm in a loop. Give us a 5p5. If you can't see and hear me, if you're watching on catch up, if you're watching live, hit the like button. It's really helpful if you do that. It is helpful if you share and promote this video, and if you subscribe. So, can I ask you, is there any news yet about Gorton to see how many people are actually standing in that election, or how many individuals, how many different people? Someone's made reference to 18 people or 18 political parties standing. I'd like to see what's going on there. The more that you have from other smaller parties, the more they cheat. And that's a prime area for cheating. And it's really funny because after this show at 9 o'clock, I will be on another channel. Hopefully I'll be able to find it and show you it. I'm going to put it out there. And hopefully it'll be live. Not sure what's going to come up on there, but we'll hit the button anyway. Oh yeah, there it is. It's on there. That will be Joe Altman. So I will show it to you as we speak, just to make sure this is an American channel. And don't forget, I absolutely love the United States of America if it's run properly. And if they take back their constitutional republic, which they should do. All right, so again, I'm going to go on there and put that out. So at or after this show, I'll be on there. So I'm going to put it out there for everyone to find a link to it. If you want to copy that link, I will be on there. Just excuse me. I'll be on there after. Where's my oh yeah, I'll find me little things. 412 at 9 p.m. No, I'm not at 412 at 9 p.m. I'm on this one, Retribution Week. On Friday, I'm on 412s. Good evening. Hi DD and Patriots. Evenings and 5p5s to everyone. Truth Crusader is out there on locals. So just to make sure you know that. So directly after this, so I'll be shutting this down in roughly 50 minutes. So this is going to be a short one. I'm going to jump over on there and we're going to have a conversation about a lot of things, and I'm sure everyone will understand that. Let's see if anyone... I've got my... let's have a look and see what's going on. Did I tell you, by the way... so I'm just making sure everything's on here. Did I tell you that my nephew was in that same competition, not the same, but a different competition, same company, where my brother-in-law won a car, 25 grand, BMW. He won a 55-inch TV before that. He won something else before that, some $3 grand cash. So he's won 3 times so far. But then his son, the one he might be giving the BMW to, thought, I'll go in for it. And he went in one of their competitions and he's just won a scooter. I don't know how much the scooter's worth, about 5 grand. Right? And he lives 2 doors away from his dad. I sent a message to my sister. I said, has your family gone outside as a family unit and rolled in shit or something? She's like, no, they just unless you're in it, you can't win it. So one of them said there's a competition out there or something for houses, right? They put houses in competitions. So I might get the whole audience to buy a ticket and see if they can win me an house. And then I'll leave it to the English Constitution Society when I die. How fair is that? What competition is it? Let me stop check. So don't forget, 9 o'clock. I'm over there talking to this guy. Right. Let me see if I can find a competition. I don't. If I give out the information on a competition, because I'm in it. I thought to myself, I'm in it for a camper van, which I didn't get. That was last night. A few other little ones, but I'm thinking to myself, and you have to look at it, right? This is what my brother-in-law said, and it's true. He said, I look at the odds. He said, so if they haven't, these people, they run the competition anyway. If they haven't sold all the tickets that they've allocated, they run the comp anyway and people win it. So instead of having, 700,000 tickets, he picks the ones where it's well in excess, less than the amount of tickets that you need, right? So I was like, what do you mean? So, and he went, well, say if they've only sold 20% of the tickets, he said they'll still run the competition. He said you've got much greater odds of winning because 80% of the people are not in the competition that they wanted to be in it. But I looked up this company, and it is a good company. And I've looked, and there's loads of winners all over the country. I mean, that camper I wanted, which obviously is just a competition. I think that was someone in Yorkshire who won it. And then off it goes, up to Yorkshire. Person's got, God knows how much that was. £60,000 camper. So yeah, it is worth doing. Better odds than the lottery. It's a bit like in the bookies when you do the numbers bet with the 49s. I don't know if anyone knows about that, but it's like 800 to 1 and betting on a lottery, but you're betting on the numbers coming out, not the lottery. Because we used to offer 800 to 1 for free numbers. So if you've got 3 numbers, if you pick the right 3 numbers that come out, it was 800 to 1. I've won that quite a few times. And so if you're putting a tenner on or 100 quid on, right, this is when I was working, you get a few quid back if you win. Tax free. Anyway, rather than me encourage it, and by the way, it's not really, they said it's not gambling because of the way they construct it. So I was well impressed with it. Let me go back and see if anyone's watching. Can you all see and hear me, by the way? And remind me to put my alarm on because I've got to go and pick someone up at 9 o'clock tomorrow morning and then take a disabled lady and her daughter and then take them to Exeter in their car, not in mine. Just to let you all know that. So what are we going back to? I'll tell you what I'm doing. I am literally going to show you, if I can find it. I wish I would set this up. I do so many things on the laptop during the day. When I set things up, it goes pear-shaped. Here it is. So on your screen as we speak, I am going to share this one with you. And I'm going to explain this to you. And hopefully I can do a short on it. Let me see if I can go back on there. Let me see if my brain is working. There you go. Touch wood, this isn't going to cut out. If it cuts out, I have to reset again. But it's on your screen. So this image, and there's a couple of images. So artist Guna does some, who by the way is an artist, a real artist that has sold his work all over the world for a lot of money, right? And does some of the best illustrations I've seen. right? But this one is done by Juicy and Lucy. It says what it is on the meme, right? You've only got to look and see that, right? So regions are Roman in nature. This is the Romanization of England, right? So they've regionalized England because the Jesuits and, in effect, the European Union, Europe, they look at the British Isles as a province of the Roman Empire, or an extension of the Roman Empire, right? And they need to crush and break up England. So when you see it on the screen like that, and you've got the Roman helmets up there, you've got the insignia of Rome. They seek to remove the common law and replace with administrative law. That's it. That's what they're doing, right? This is such a simple meme. Return to English structures, shires, districts and parishes, and there you see England as it should be. The English constitution is the solution. Why is it the solution? Because London is a region. The levelling up means levelling down to the extent of what London is. That's why you're seeing all these people flooding into the country. England is to be eradicated, and the common law is to be eradicated, and the Constitution of England is to be eradicated, as it is the beating heart of the United States of America. That's exactly what they're doing. And the simplest way to get back is to void the Acts of Union, and there's a reason for that, because everything is subordinate to the British Parliament, even though it's English, Scottish, Welsh, Irish, Northern Irish law. Is subordinate to that act. If you abolish void, meaning it's never had legal effect, then everything made under it and created under it is also void. There's other ways of doing it, which are compromises, which I don't believe will work. But if someone ever come up with a constructive plan of repealing, or not repealing, but making void certain laws, abolishing certain laws, I would certainly look at that. But currently, there's no one doing that. So as you look at this meme, it explains it to you. The easiest way of destroying the London Assembly, which is a region of the European Union, is once you take out the regional assembly, you also take out the Greater London Authority, which was a stepping stone to the assembly. They put everything is a plan with what they're doing. They're well thought out. They're not stupid. And then you would immediately restate Middlesex. Middlesex is crucial to England, yet it has been erased off the map. And if people don't think this is part of their plan, ask yourself, where is Middlesex? What did they do to Middlesex? And now you're seeing all these other counties on the right-hand side of this image are now all being destroyed and dismantled and placed into these regions, no different to London. Right? So if you think it's not going to happen, think again. It's quite simple. Does everyone understand that meme? Let me go back and share my thoughts on this. Did everyone see that? Do you all understand? Do you think that was a simple analogy and a meme that describes it? So hopefully, people, we can create hopefully a 90-second short, and then we're going to start creating shorts after the show. Go on there, clip it. I'll clip that out. Make sure it's bang on. Send it out there, and people will start seeing exactly what's going on. Now, the thing that's odd is they've done the same thing to the United States of America. Via, in effect, a national emergency, which I believe they always knew that was in place, which was 9/11, they created the Patriot Act. With the Patriot Act, they created the Department of Homeland Security. With the Department of Homeland Security, they they created FEMA regions. There's 10 dividing America up into 10 regions. The regions then absorb the states, and you come into these administrative regions that destroys the common law. That was always the plan of the United Nations. That's why President Trump is saying, we've had enough, right? You're going, you're gone. And he's creating independent nations via the Board of Peace. That's exactly what he's doing. And what you're seeing are the ignorant and communist or useful idiots not understanding what President Trump is doing, right? There's some other things I'm going to bring up in a couple of minutes, which I think are really important. It's only my opinion. I think there's some weird things going on with Alberta. I've done some investigation into the guy who's running it. So let me see if I can go back to this and show you. Let's go back to my profile. I've pinned this, and I just want to make sure people can see it. Right, I'll send it out today. Let's see if I can come and get. Does everyone remember this guy? Let me see if I can bring it up. I've got so many good things on my Twitter feed today. It's been quite exciting, really. Let me have a quick look and see if I can push it down. Where's it gone? I sent it out earlier. I do hate it when this happens, when they completely go pear-shaped. There was a guy. Or did I send it out? Let's have a look and see if I sent it out notifications. There you are. This is the one. I sent this out, right? So I'm going to copy that link and send it out because I want as many people to send it out. It's only had 4 retweets. That's 481 views, right? Really begin and I'll show you what it is. What I'm going to do is go back in there, send this out to you as the audience, and you'll see it, right? Retweet this if you can. It's important that people get this, so I'm going to send this out. Oh, wrong one. Where's it gone? Oh, there it is, right at the front. Right. So I've sent this out to Jim Ferguson, who started off quite recently with hardly any followers on Twitter. Bearing in mind what they keep doing to us, every time we get to around 10,000, they take us down. So I would have had probably the best part of 40,000 followers and subscribers on Twitter. What they've done to us on YouTube, what they've done to us on Facebook, and we are definitely being oppressed. It's got 426,000 followers, right? Now, Jim Ferguson is one of these stronger together chaps, right? So Jim supports Alberta becoming independent, but not Northern Ireland or England. He is promoted by X, which he is, right? There is something very strange about Advance UK. He's with Advance UK. Very strange, and I suspect Rupert Lowe knows that, right? Now, what I'm going to do is bring this up and show you.
Oh, hi there. This is Jim Ferguson of Freedom Train International. And I have a gift for the people of Alberta. We stand with you, Alberta. We stand with all the Albertans in their quest for independence and sovereignty. We hope you like it, and I want you to know that patriots all around the world are watching Alberta right now. We stand with you, and I hope you enjoy this. Just remember, they can't kill the mountain. They can't drown the plain. They can't burn the spirit that won't be chained. We'll speak soon. Well, hi there. This is Jim Ferguson of Freedom.
Now, I'm asking people, do you not think that's strange? Now, the guy who's running, so what I'm going to do now is go back, hopefully, take you all the way to the top and go to my top. I absolutely support self-determination, right? So what I'm going to do now is take you, let's go back to my profile page. right? It's easy to spot now, by the way. We've got the English flags up there as well, right? I'm going to bring this up so everyone can see it. This is a brilliant interview. This is
expressed by people in this province. Can you understand how, on the face of it, Canadians would view, some Canadians outside of the ones that support your cause, who are not necessarily unempathetic to the frustrations expressed by people in this province, but who would view the idea of, people here meeting with a government that has, spoken the way it has about this country as a whole, as problematic and seeking money to make this happen.
I understand that there's a lot of Ontarians and people in Quebec that suffer deeply from Trump derangement syndrome, but we're not doing anything untoward. It's absolutely, from our perspective, we're just conducting due diligence on behalf of our fellow Albertans. We're serious professionals. I mean, I've argued cases at the Supreme Court of Canada, for goodness sake. I mean, we take what we're doing very seriously, and obviously the attitude of the United States towards Alberta independence, which incidentally is overwhelmingly enthusiastic, is something that informs our movement going forward. If the United States said, "Oh God, we can't tolerate that," flies in the face of the communist New World Order, we'll slap a 300% tariff on Albertans if they leave because we want you to remain resource slaves of the communist government in Ottawa, it would be a totally different conversation. But that's not the case. We're gratified that it's the case. And quite frankly, the Trump administration shows Albertans far more respect than is shown to Albertans by the government in Ottawa. Do you think three of us could get a meeting with Tim Hodgson to talk about the need for a pipeline to the Pacific Northwest so that David Eby can't continue to hold us hostage? Of course not, because they want us to be held hostage. So, so I understand that there are Canadians that are upset, especially in Ontario, that when Alberta leaves, that Ontarians for the first time in their lives are going to have to pay their own bills and pay the bills of the Maritimes that we've been paying for years. I understand that's upsetting to people, but they need to understand that Albertans are done, we're leaving, and there's no more conversation to be had. I know that's upsetting to people.
Do you believe, though, that the motivations of the people you're meeting with or in the Trump administration are altruistic? Like, do you think they want what's good for you and people who support your cause, or do you think that they're trying to leverage this to get the upper hand against the country of Canada as a whole?
I've studied foreign policy at the university level. I have an honors degree in political science, and I have an honors degree in law from the London School of Economics. Don't you think that communist Ottawa is leveraging communist China against Alberta? I mean, come on. I mean, we live in the world of realpolitik.
But you don't mind being a pawn in that fight?
We're not a pawn. I mean, we're talking to them about our aspirations, and we have our goals and objectives. So, we're not a pawn. We're actually more like a rook or a queen on a chessboard, moving forward in the direction that we want to move freely on the board. The pawns are the provincial premiers like Danielle Smith that are being manipulated by Carney and Eby and communist China to do their globalist bidding, as far as I'm concerned.
When you mentioned that you've met with people in the State Department, you feel as though that message has been conveyed to Scott Bessent. That's why he made the comments he did. How high up are the meetings that you're taking? Are there names, for example, of people that you're meeting with that we would recognize offhand?
I'm not sure about that. Probably. I mean, we're meeting at a very high level. People in our meetings are going, direct.
Stephen Miller?
I'm not going to say. I mean,
why not?
We're not, because we're not. We have an agreement with the people that we're meeting with that we're not disclosing the identities of the people that we're meeting with. So
why not? May I ask?
Because it's an agreement. So that's all.
But again, would it be reasonable to question the motivations of making that agreement?
That's probably why we're not talking about it. We don't want them being bothered by people from the press in Canada asking them silly questions. They don't want to be wasting their time answering questions from the press, right? And we're fine with that. We don't care. I mean, we know already that our meetings are paying dividends when the U.S. Secretary of Treasury is announcing the fact that the U.S. would be open to a pipeline through the Pacific Northwest to take David Eby and communist China out of control of the Alberta oil field.
May I ask then, in a different way, have there been conversations, among yourself or people in the movement with, for example, as high as President Trump?
No. I haven't. I'm not sure about David Cameron. He's not really part of our movement and part of what we're doing. He's the leader of the Republican Party of Alberta. He claims to have been to Mar-a-Lago and whatever. We don't need to meet with President Trump. We're really technicians when it comes right down to it, right? At the end of the day, our next delegation to Washington, we're going to have bankers, economists, corporate lawyers, et cetera, to help with this feasibility study that we're conducting, right? And we're going to be putting together, what a potential deal memo could look like, and put together a complete dossier so that we can just hand it over to whoever the government of Alberta is in power and say, hey, if Ottawa is giving you a hard time, here's an easy way out. There's a large credit facility that's available through Goldman Sachs or JP Morgan or whoever, in the event that Ottawa tries to cut off your money.
Right, did you all see and hear that? There's a few things. So go back to Jim Ferguson, or whatever his name is, the geezer from Northern Ireland, that's part of UK, Advanced UK, right? Ben Hatbib won't talk about England, nor will Jim Ferguson, but they both talk about Northern Ireland. Neither will talk about any form of independence, self-determination, which is what it's known as. There's a discussion going on with Alberta, but that guy that was just talking, and listen, I want them to be independent, right? What concerns me is that he was taught law at the London School of Economics in London. He is talking about not liking or being involved in any form of communism, and I agree that there's issues. Quebec, when they talked about secession, no one attacked them like they're attacking Alberta. You could put Great Britain into Alberta 3 times, and it's got a population of 5,000, right? It's got mineral wealth, it's got copper, silver, gold, it's got everything you can think of and a lot more, like aluminium. It's got oil. I'm not sure they said how much oil it's got. It's a lot of oil, right? And they're having a very positive conversation. The bit concerns me is, why would Jim Ferguson openly and as part of Advanced UK support Alberta in independence and self-determination, but have no discussion whatsoever and shut down any discussion about England or Northern Ireland being independent, right? Because self-determination and national, and going back to being national states. So if you did void the Acts of Union, you go back to a common law agreement and union, because you're under one crown, right? Of 1603. It's already been proven in law, by the way. You didn't need any political. The Acts of Union originally was a treaty between, in effect, the two kings. They were unified, and then they created the domestic law, which was the Acts of Union, which they have already, on many occasions, from that date, created bad faith. In other words, unlawfully gone against the Acts of Union and destroyed, in effect, the nation states. The reason why Wales is part of England, that happened in 1536, and it was nothing really to do with the English. In effect, it was a Welsh king that brought Wales in there as a principality, because we was both common law jurisdictions. Scotland is Roman law. Now, the other side of this, there's another group talking about being Republicans in Alberta. The bit that confuses me is one group of them people are saying, well, we want to join with the US. So they're basically doing what Scotland's saying, is we want independence from the British Union because we want to be part of the European Union, which is basically communist, not Nazi, right? So it gets highly confusing what these people are doing in the background. But when you see this guy talk, and he says he was taught law at the London School of Economics, a Fabian university, founded by the Rockefellers, founded by the Rothschilds. When I say founded, I mean financed, right? Many of these people currently causing us so many problems are Fabians, including Sadiq Khan. Most of what's been put in place now that's flooding, not just across the channel, but the visa system that's in place was put in place by Fabians, and when I talk about Fabians, I'm talking about Tories as well, right? Toryism is Fabianism. What do you think? What does that say? Longdon School last year saying I'll put you off that light. So tell me what you think. But the bit that gets me is Advanced UK. And then you've got Nick Buckley. If I was to bring him, let me bring up his profile, because I think this is important. Let's see if I can bring him up on the screen, right? Nick Buckley. Let's bring him up on the screen. Right, so there's his profile on the screen. Let me share it with you first. Not that one. Not that one. Let me go back to that one. There you go. Make sure I'm doing it, because I've got to get over to that other one, right? Let's bring this up on your screen. Here it is now on your screen, right? Can you all see that? Feminism he's talking about, great. Then he's got England, My England. Then he's got another book there, Anglophobia, A Price Worth Paying to Be English. And then he's got another one there, again, England, My England, right? Now, all I'm asking, right, and then he says lessons in courage, which is on the right-hand side. But since he's been part of Advanced UK, he hasn't even mentioned England. In fact, he's completely shut down. Why is that? And do you think he should be on the doorsteps talking about England and the English, and this is an attack on England, right? So then you've got this guy, Jim Ferguson, who's now got, I don't know, 400,000 followers or whatever it is. He is being highly promoted by Twitter. And these people who are being promoted, all of them are against England's self-determination and England as a common law jurisdiction. Bearing in mind, Scotland would still cause problems if it was part of the USA, because it is a Roman law jurisdiction, no different to Louisiana, right? And the reason why America technically is a unitary state and not a country is because of that state. I just thought I'd bring it up. You tell me what you think of that. So I'll go back to the audience. You tell me if check my thinking, right? Do you not think that is highly unusual that Jim Ferguson should be putting out a video, which he did, in support of Alberta's independence, when he will not entertain a discussion in relation to England or Northern Ireland? Anyone from Northern Ireland out there listening to this now? Jim is very articulate. Is he? He might be articulate, but he ain't making sense. It doesn't make sense to me. Check my thinking. I want the audience to tell me in the chat, do you not find that strange? And do you think it's strange? But the guy who is leading this is from the London School of Economics. He makes me cringe. Who makes you cringe? Furnace, yeah, and don't forget we've got that coming up as well. I need to bring that up. I have listened to Jim Ferguson and Godfrey Bloom in conversation together, and I was very impressed by them both. Well, neither of them will talk to me. Jim used to follow me, and Jim used to talk to me in the background. And then he started, I can't remember what it was that he started. Oh no, he was talking about going to war with Ukraine. And I'm sure he was backing the war and attacking Russia. I just think it's really weird. I've never heard of him. No, there's quite a few people. Ferguson, I've never heard of him. Let me have a quick go. I listened to Nick Buckley and Ant Middleton, also Nick Griffin. He seems to be outside of them and agreeing and liking. Let me see what this says. Bam 7. I listened to Nick Buckley and Ant Middleton, also Nick Griffin, and he seems to be on side with them and agreeing and liking all of that they said. But now he sounds like he's flipped his head. Who has flipped their head? Nick Griffin or the others? Yeah, what he said, LSE, has worried me. I thought, how can he be saying that? He's saying then. I know. It's weird. It's weird. I'm not suggesting every single person that's ever been there, but you are normally, if you come from another country and you go to the London School of Economics, there's a reason for it, right? You just got to be very careful of that. But perhaps he had investments. I don't know what that means. Jim F is a union all through. Yeah, that's what I mean. So, hiya, blessings. Bam 7, Nick Buckley. All right. Evening all, managed. Let me have a look. Yeah, but with Nick Buckley, what I see, I've said this before, right? That different people on YouTube were drawing the English in because all of a sudden they had someone talking about England. The only one who's ever been consistently England, to my knowledge, is me, right? I don't know anyone else, apart from Andy the Gabby Cabby, right? Andy the Gabby Cabby gets it completely, right? So you think to yourself, it's just there's something wrong, and you can't put your finger on it. Company girl, hello. Good Ray Edmonds, good evening, how you doing? I like Nick Buckley, but not any longer. That's what I mean. He has made people. What people want to see is conviction. They want someone who knows what they're standing for and will stand and deliver for the constituents. And if you're saying I'm white, I'm English, and again, if you went and looked at Nick Buckley's profile and looked at his book titles, he's even made money out of it, right? And then not to mention England, and then to be a part of a group of people, Advance UK, who are, as it looks like, forbidden, right? So they're the same part of the union party, the unionists, they're the uni party, whatever you want to describe them as. The Labour Party will not allow independence for England. They will not allow it. The BBC will not discuss it. GB News would never have me on there. They banned me from it, right? I even had a chat with their CEO on the phone, right? I got his mobile number, and he just didn't want me on there. It was all bullshit, right? Just tell me what you think. Yeah, Sue Ellen, Taffy Pat. But are they the traitors we need removing? Blessings, Patriot. Yeah, and then someone else today, which I'm not going to mention, sent out a tweet, stronger together. So I sent back a message to him on Twitter. Right? I started following him. I weren't following him before. And I said, are you aware that is a Soviet slogan? Stronger together is a Soviet slogan. And he said, it's not theirs anymore, it's mine. I just thought, that's just sticking your head in the sand and not understanding what it is that you were saying. And you're being told, right, who these people are, how they have programmed, indoctrinated and brainwashed you to believe something, that the UK is a country when it's not. It is a unitary state. Even the law books say it. So it's just weird. Let me check my time because we're getting close to 9 o'clock. Courtney Gill, would you be up for chatting with Howard Cox, DD? He's not a member of Advance, but the college or sobering, helping policy writing. But you think he would listen to you? Yeah, of course I'd talk to him. I talked to Howard Cox, but And I agree with most of what he says, because he's basically in. I was talking to my dad today about buying a camper van, and he went, and I said to my dad, the problem is they'll just put the road tax up, because they know people are now moving into camper vans because they're moving all the foreigners into houses. And if you don't want assets, if you don't want to buy an house, right, you just want to live somewhere and pay a decent rent, and are moving all the foreigners in. And then they know people are then moving into campers. They just put the road tax up, so you're still paying for the foreigners, and you still won't get anywhere to live. But yeah, I would talk to Howard Cox. I don't know anyone who knows him. But again, whether he'd come on the show and have a chat. I mean, I am, when I'm representing the English Constitution Society or the party, I am polite, I think. I do try. It's only when people get into silly conversations with me elsewhere, or if you're anything to do with a free man of the land, I'm like, Oscar, get away from me. I'm not interested. Road taxes doubling in April. Is it? Someone's just said in there that road taxes doubling in April. Well, it's dear enough as it is. And the fucking potholes are unbelievable. I think my rear alloy is fractured yet again, right? So the front one was fractured. I had to change it. And I think I've got a fracture on my back one because I've got a slow puncture. It's a brand new tyre. Let me have a look. Ant 25 stealth van. Someone else said that to me about a stealth van. Yeah, but it's still a bit. Nick, what's that one saying there? Nick Buckley has very likely been told not to mention England. No, I agree. But he's gone out there, built an audience on YouTube, right? And they've promoted him, yeah, blah, blah, blah. And it's like suckered people in. But listen, I want people to go out and vote, right? Even if you wrote, I do not consent, but you must use your vote, right? Because if the people who don't vote go out there and their votes are bigger than the people in the election, it creates a constitutional correct. We're saying we don't consent to this. It causes a massive problem, especially taxing you, and especially with the law, because you're governed by consent. If you say I don't consent, Ashby versus White 1703, then someone has to say, hang on a minute, right? We need to create a solution for this. Neil Oliver believes the Constitution is the solution for all. Taffy Pat. When has Neil Oliver said that? Buckley looks like he has changed suit. Maybe paymasters. No, that's what I mean. And again, I'm not being overly critical with him. If everyone out there, he is a local candidate. He's lived there. I'm not sure if he was born there, but certainly he's been out in the community. All of them things are really positive, right? If I lived there, apart from the fact that he has stopped mentioning England, I would have voted for him. Because he stopped mentioning England, and he's doing something that I don't like. Hopefully, if he gets elected and he says, right, well now I'm going to start talking about England, right? I'd applaud him. I'd say, right, go on, crack on, son. Now go at it. And he would be mostly aligned with Rupert Lowe. Tracy Church, sharing is caring. I'm coming up to 1:45. Any other questions out there? He was born there, DD. Oh, right, was he born there? I vote, but I don't like showing ID. Nick Buckley was a local councillor also in the past. Yeah, evidently, I mean, he's proper done some stuff in his community. That's why I ain't being... I'm trying not... The issue I've got is this not discussing England stuff, right? Because there are no English MPs. The last English MP that I know of was David Amish, and he was murdered by a Mohammedan. Let me have a look. And the other person who's close to being English, more than most, I've got to be honest with you. I do lean towards Rupert Lowe, even though he annoys me with some of the things he says. But he is doing so. And again, you've got the inquiry, the rape and torture inquiry going on, and some people have said, yeah, but you're not going to achieve anything with it. Well, it's evidence gathering. The person gathering the evidence and sitting there is a barrister, right? I don't know if he's a King's Counsel or not, but he's certainly a barrister. And that's going to be and then they're looking at private prosecutions. Now, if they privately prosecute, there's 4 key words, right? So the Criminal Justice Act 1988, Section 134, torture, and this can elevate into universal jurisdiction and bring the whole trial and situation in America. So the 4 key words are acquiescence, right? Consent, omission, and act. If you've done any of them 4 things, so they're ors, right? If you did any of them 4 things, and you're any form of official, you can then be tried, privately prosecuted under the Torture Act, in effect. Because torture don't mean pulling out your fingernails to get information. It means a lot of things, right? And if the Attorney General was to block it, you then have an appeal process in this country. And if it was all thrown out, you could apply to the Attorney General in the United States of America to bring the case. And then you can say, I want it brought in Texas, right? And bearing in mind, Texas criminal law is a common law jurisdiction that has adopted the English common law in its entirety. The Texas Constitution of 1836, right? There's a whole paragraph in it. And under universal jurisdiction, the British signed up to that, right? So they didn't just ratify it. They then brought into domestic law with the Criminal Justice Act, 1988, Section 134, torture. That means it's signed, sealed and delivered to move the prosecution into America. Then you could have a situation where these individuals, the information and the evidence is put to an American jury, completely independent of England. If they're found guilty, it's a whole life sentence. If the UK as a unitary state doesn't hand them over, you've got the Maduro effect. So in effect, they'll say, this is justice. You signed up to it. If you don't want to hand them over, we'll come and get them, right? And next thing you know, a number of these individuals end up spending the rest of their life, because it's a whole life sentence, in an American prison, a supermax. And just in case the Americans watching this think, well, we don't want to pay for your criminals to be in our prison, and then you bill the head of state, which is King Charles III. It's quite simple. It's not difficult to work out. Does everyone like the idea of that, by the way? Do you think there's a couple of shorts in that argument? Starmer needs prosecuting with Mandelson, and I agree that. Changed my picture. Nice to see you out there again. Gooner Mum's out there. Tracy Truism is out there. Keck Rangel, my favourite frog. Let me have a look. Taffy Pat, Gooner Mum, exactly, and rightly so. Charles the Turd, yeah. Steve Whitaker, love it. Sent you a video, road tax double, DD. All right, I'll have to have a look at that. Kew Gardens in Staffordshire, Ray, Tracy, CMP. Milk Jenkins, sounds great, DD. Neil 56, love it. Evening, Kew Gardens. Luke 1956, Kew Gardens, invest in rope. Yeah, it's got to be hemp, right? We'll have a bit of hemp around someone's neck. By due process, of course. Wait until they release King Charles III is on the Epstein list. Well, don't forget, this is only the first tranche of it. I think there's another couple of releases coming. very slowly, killing them slowly. I think there was a song called like that. Let me have a nice tie, DD. Thank you very much. Let me have a look here. Sir Keck. Sir Keck is a proper person. Let me have a quick look and see what else. Daddy channel 7 minutes to 8. Oh, need to be careful there then. So I'm going to say good night, God bless. I know it's a short show. I would have gone on and gone through some other stuff. Tomorrow I'm out all day, hopefully, looking at different things because this one of these ladies is disabled. Actually, they're both disabled, and I'm just helping them find a motor vehicle and see if we can help them out there. Right. So again, don't forget what I believe in. The Constitution is the solution. You're all wonderful people, and what I'm going to do now is sign off and go back over to the other channel. Let me see if I can find it again for you. So I'm going to put that out there. Everyone should be able to see this. I'll let you click on this link and I will be over there shortly. And don't forget, wave the English flag and say, hello, thanks for having Daddy Dragon on there. Graham Morph, don't, get out there and say the English have arrived. We're English, not British. Have a listen to us. Holly England. Night all. That's it. Good night. God bless.